Hi, this is Dan, and here's my pilot log entry for March 14, 2023. We're making a quick dash to Big Bear, straight east from Camarillo, about 130 miles. The challenge is to get there before the airport restaurant closes, mostly because I haven't had lunch yet. Of course, we're leaving at the last possible moment. You're looking at the 3D rendering from the ForeFlight track log of our departure from Camarillo, running 10 times actual speed. This is one of the incredible things ForeFlight does on an iPad. Note the time. It's 1:22 and the restaurant stops serving at 2:30. We need to hurry, so we'll climb high and fly GPS direct. We've come up a beam Mount Baldy and we're making good time. Cruising at 9,500 feet, thin air and tailwinds are giving us a boost. We're cruising better than 160 miles per hour. With big mountains to the north and endless cities to the south, this is one of my favorite routes. The contrasting scenery is always fascinating. 1:51 p.m. and 55 miles to go. If we make it, there'll be only minutes to spare. I am determined to have lunch at the Barnstorm Cafe. Truth be told, the story's not about going fast and far for lunch's sake. First, it's about the process, then the journey, then the destination, and lunch at the airport's just a nice bonus. The story's about keeping current and exercising old skills and new equipment. The Cardinal's old and its pilot's been flying a long time, but there's been big changes of late, so there's still much to learn and get used to. For me, using and depending heavily on an iPad in the cockpit is a big deal change. On top of that, there's my new computer to help me tell the story. It lets me create these flight simulations that my old computer just couldn't hack. More new stuff, new software, steep learning curves, but amazing results. Yeah, I'd say it's worthwhile. We're at the easternmost end of the San Gabriel Mountains, with Ontario Peak front and left, Cucamonga Peak to the right, and Mount Baldy in the rear. Though these are the most prominent peaks of the range, the San Gabriels just suddenly end here at the Cajon Pass. The pass and the San Andreas Fault that runs through it separates these mountains from the next range to the east, the San Bernardino Mountains. This simulation is Google Earth programmed with our actual track log. With a few more tweaks, you might hardly tell it from the real thing. You know, the stuff with the light faceplates is going on 50 years old. The JPI engine monitor is really new, and I don't know how I ever got along without it. One of these days, the Cardinal gets a completely remodeled panel, but it'll do just fine until then. "20 miles to go now, and though our speed is good, there's little time to spare. Every minute counts, because even once we're there, we can't just shut down and get out. With a turbocharged engine, we have to sit there and idle for 4 minutes or else bad things happen. And then we need a few more minutes to secure the plane. It's going to be tight." 2:15 and we're on downwind over Big Bear and about to land. Even though we're so close now, by the time we taxi and tie down, we may only have 5 minutes to spare. Well, we made it, but just barely. Though we showed up at 2:29, the staff graciously kept the kitchen running and I was able to slow down and enjoy a burger. After lunch, I wandered into town to stretch my legs. Thelma's stays open in the afternoon, and that was my lunch backup plan. 4:32, and though it seems we just got here, we're departing Big Bear. We're in a hurry again. There's low clouds due to come in over Camarillo late in the afternoon, as they usually do this time of year. I mean to be back before then. Another plane took off just a little before us, and I know it's ahead of us on the far side of the lake. I spotted a paraplane to the left, and it's about our altitude, but it's not showing up on the iPad. Neither is the other plane. Big Bear Lake is fuller than it's been in a long time, and it's good to see it this way. We had an unusually cold and wet winter, and it left a lot more snow in the mountains than we usually see by this time of the year. We're 20 miles further on. A big plume of smoke is coming up from the west shore of Silverwood Lake at Cleghorn Beach. I'm thinking it's a campfire gone out of control. Speaking of hot things, I'm always checking that number 3 cylinder. As long as I can keep it below 400 degrees, everything's cool. Scanning now for traffic. Nothing's close that I need to watch. This is a huge help, but even so, lots of planes don't show up here at all. We're north of Pasadena. West Los Angeles and the ocean are off to the left, and the low clouds by the coast are creeping inland. The same thing's happening at Camarillo. There's lots of times like this when half the airport gets clouded over and the other half is still blue sky. Camarillo is still 20 minutes ahead, but I think we'll be okay. We're on final at Camarillo. A track log shows a preview of how we're about to strangely loop off to the right. This is from a sudden change of plan. You see, a Challenger jet is just behind us and it's going 50 knots faster. The towers asked me to keep our speed up so we can make the spacing right, but it's not working out. The towers asked me to go around instead and make a right pattern, so that's what we're doing. I guess it's safer if we go around rather than the jet, but I don't mind at all. It keeps me sharp and it's all good fun beside.